Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Jinjin's Cosmic. If you didn't happen to be here, perhaps it's time to meet your soul. Dear Libra, there is a silent tremor making its way toward you, a destiny stirring from its slumber in the final week of August. You may be preparing for an ordinary week, anticipating the familiar rhythms of your life. But the universe is composing a symphony you cannot yet hear, and its crescendo is about to change your entire story. This isn't just a surprise, dear Libra. This is a sacred reckoning. It is the arrival of a truth so profound and so deeply yours that it will feel like meeting yourself for the very first time. You felt it, haven't you? A quiet restlessness beneath the surface of your carefully curated peace. An unnameable ache that whispers to you in the dead of night, asking, is this all there is? This feeling is not your imagination. It is the stirring of a version of you that was buried alive long ago, not by circumstance, not by others, but by the quiet, desperate need to be accepted. That version of you did not die. It has been breathing in the dark, gathering its strength, and now, in the final days of this month, it is ready for its resurrection. Are you prepared to witness an event that will not just rearrange your life, but dismantle the very foundations upon which it was built? This surprise is not a chance encounter or a lucky break. It is an internal detonation of authenticity, a force that will rise from the depths of your soul to shatter every cage you've mistaken for a home. Before we journey deeper into this profound transformation, take a moment to affirm your readiness. Share in the comments below. I, Libra, welcome the truth that sets me free. By doing so, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that you are no longer willing to live a life that is not truly yours. Let's be honest, dear Libra. From a very young age, you learned a painful and distorted lesson about love. You were taught, perhaps not in words, but in the subtle reactions of those around you, that your raw essence was something to be managed, negotiable. You learned that belonging came at a price, and the currency was your authenticity. To keep the peace, to be the good child, the dependable friend, the harmonious partner, you began a lifelong performance. You became a masterful editor of your own soul, softening your sharp edges, silencing your inconvenient truths, and dimming your brilliant light to make others more comfortable. And in doing so, you became a ghost in your own existence. Every time you swallowed your opinion to avoid a disagreement, you handed over a piece of your power. Every time you smiled through your own pain to soothe someone else's, you betrayed a part of your heart. Every time you whispered it's okay when it was absolutely not okay, you participated in the slow, quiet death of your spirit. But here is the profound truth that is about to surface. Your spirit is not dead. It is immortal. It has been waiting patiently in the shadows, and it has grown weary of the performance. It is ready to take center stage. This surprise, this great awakening, will not knock on your door from the outside. It will erupt from within. You may have been misinterpreting its preliminary tremors as anxiety, as stress, as a sign that something is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong. In fact, for the first time, everything is about to become right. What you are feeling is the magnificent, terrifying, and beautiful process of your true self clawing its way back to the surface. It is a resurrection, and resurrections are never gentle. They are messy, they are loud, and they are utterly, unequivocally life-altering. For years, you have perfected the art of being a mirror, reflecting back to others the version of you they needed to see. You became the ultimate mediator, the diplomat, the one who could find common ground in any conflict. often by sacrificing your own ground entirely. This role, which you believed was your nature, was in fact your most sophisticated survival mechanism. It was a role you adopted to navigate a world that too often rewards conformity and punishes the very authenticity it claims to admire. You became so adept at this performance that even you started to believe the mask was your real face. But in the last week of August, that mask is going to shatter. Not a subtle crack, not a gentle peeling away, but a sudden, complete disintegration. And in that moment, you will stand before the mirror of your own soul, stripped bare of all pretenses, all filters, all excuses. And what you see might frighten you at first, because beneath the layers of forced harmony and people-pleasing, you will find a person of staggering power, a person with fierce opinions, unwavering desires, and a profound, unshakable sense of self that requires no external validation to exist. The true surprise of this time, Libra, is that you will finally stop being afraid of your own intensity. You will cease to fear the discomfort your truth might cause in others, the dread of disappointing people, of failing to meet their unspoken expectations, of not fitting into the neat little box they built for you. All of it will evaporate, and when that fear vanishes, it will take with it the smallness that has kept your life contained, predictable, and profoundly unfulfilling. Are you ready to discover that the person you were always meant to be is more magnificent, more powerful, and more wonderfully intimidating than you ever allowed yourself to imagine? There is a memory, isn't there? Buried deep in the archives of your heart. A moment, perhaps in childhood, when you spoke your unfiltered truth, when you expressed a raw emotion, when you were unapologetically you. And in that moment, someone, a parent, a teacher, a friend reacted in a way that taught you a devastating lesson. You are too much. Your truth was labeled as inconvenient, your passion as drama, your needs as demanding. That single moment may have been the seed from which your entire prison of self-restraint grew. It created a subconscious programming that has run your life ever since. A quiet, insidious voice that whispers, "If I am truly myself, I will be rejected. If I show what I really want, I will be abandoned. If I speak my truth, I will create chaos." And so, you began to build the walls of your own cage, meticulously editing every word, censoring every impulse, and policing every desire to ensure you remained an acceptable version of yourself. In the coming days, this core memory is going to be dredged up from the depths, not to haunt you, but to be healed. And the healing process will be intense. You will likely feel a surge of sacred anger not at others, but at yourself, for the years you lost to this charade. You will feel a profound grief for the countless moments you betrayed your own soul for the sake of social comfort. But then, rising from the ashes of that anger and grief, a strength you never knew you possessed will emerge. A fierce, unyielding determination to never, ever again trade your authenticity for approval. What is happening for all Libras in this pivotal week is the symbolic death of the self that was built to please, and the violent, beautiful birth of the self that exists only to be true. This birth will not be polite. It will not ask for permission. It is as urgent and as inevitable as a force of nature. The story of your life is about to be seized by a new author, your own soul. And this author is not interested in writing a comfortable, predictable narrative. This author is here to write an epic. For so long, you have lived with the question, who am I, really, beneath all these layers? In the last week of August, that question will no longer be a question. It will become a statement. You will know, with a cellular certainty that cuts through all the fog of doubt and confusion that has clouded your identity. And this knowing will extend beyond who you are. It will illuminate why you are here, your unique purpose. The specific gift that only you can offer the world will become blindingly clear. Once this clarity dawns, the architecture of your life will begin to spontaneously reorganize around it. Relationships that were founded upon your false self will either have to evolve to meet your new authenticity, or they will crumble away. Situations that required you to shrink yourself will suddenly feel suffocating and utterly unbearable. You won't have to make a conscious effort to end these things. They will simply fall away, as they can no longer exist in the high-frequency vibration of your true self. The story of your life, up until this point, was written by an author terrified of rejection. This author created safe characters and predictable plots. But the new author, your soul, is a courageous storyteller. She is not afraid of dramatic plot twists, complex characters, or dialogue that speaks the raw, unvarnished truth. This new author is not interested in conventional happy endings. She is interested in true endings, resolutions that honor the messy, beautiful complexity of the human experience. She writes chapters of profound growth, not just conformity disguised as maturity. And as she begins this new narrative, you will look back on the previous version of your life and see it for what it was. A rough draft for the masterpiece your existence is destined to become. Libra, let us speak of the secret pain you carry, the one you rarely acknowledge even to yourself. It is the ache of never feeling truly seen. How could you be, when you have so rarely allowed yourself to be truly shown? You have built connections based on carefully curated versions of yourself, and then wondered why you feel so profoundly alone, even in a crowded room. You have yearned to be loved for who you are, while simultaneously hiding that very person from the world. In the last week of August, this paradox will be resolved in a way that feels nothing short of miraculous. The healing will come not from someone outside of you finally getting you, but from you finally stopping the act of hiding. You will begin to reveal yourself so completely, so vulnerably, so authentically, that the world will have no choice but to see you as you are. And you will discover, for the first time, a profound sense of peace in the fact that not everyone will be able to handle the brilliance of your truth. Herein lies the most beautiful surprise. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you create the space to be deeply and truly loved by a few. When you stop trying to fit in everywhere, you discover the places where you genuinely belong. You will begin to attract people who are not just tolerant of your authenticity, but are magnetically drawn to it. They will be enchanted by the very qualities you were once taught to suppress. There is a force within you, Libra, a wellspring of creativity, leadership, and transformative power that has been dammed up for years. In the coming days, that dam is going to break. You will find yourself making decisions with a speed and clarity that would have terrified the old you. You will speak words you have always thought, but never dared to voice. You will choose your own integrity over your social popularity again and again, and you will understand that all those years of self-suppression were not wasted. They were your training ground. You had to intimately understand the crushing weight of the cage to fully appreciate the liberation of flight. You had to know the bitter taste of inauthenticity to savor the sweetness of living in your truth. Every moment you felt like an outsider, every time you felt you had to perform to be loved, was the universe whispering to you, "You are too magnificent to fit into these small spaces." Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a superpower. Your deep need for beauty and harmony is not superficial. It is the mark of a soul destined to create experiences that elevate the world. As we approach this transformative week, notice the subtle shifts already underway. Notice the inner turmoil which you might mistake for anxiety but is, in fact, the thrill of your soul preparing to emerge. Do not fight this feeling. Surrender to it. It is the uncomfortable but necessary process of shedding an old skin. A metamorphosis is, by its nature, a process of destruction and rebirth. You are literally becoming a new person, and this cannot be a gentle or gradual affair. It must be total. This awakening will also unlock talents and abilities you never knew you possessed, not because they are new, but because the vast amounts of energy you once expended on maintaining your performance will now be freed up for creation. You may discover a leader within you, one who was always silenced by the fear of causing disharmony. You may discover a powerful voice with strong, well-founded opinions that have been muted by years of excessive diplomacy. You will discover a natural magnetism that radiates from a person who is at home in their own skin. What is coming is not just a new chapter, Libra. It is an entirely new book. You are stepping out of the role of the supporting character, the one who exists to smooth things over and make everyone else's story easier, and are finally claiming your rightful place as the protagonist of your own epic. You were not born to be a beautiful backdrop. You were born to be the main event. The transformation will begin with small acts of courage. A no where you would have once said yes. A moment of speaking your truth, even if your voice trembles. A choice that prioritizes your own well-being over the comfort of another. These small cracks in the facade will quickly spread, until the entire false structure you built around yourself crumbles, revealing the brilliant, uncut diamond that has always been there. Some will be dazzled by this diamond. Others will be intimidated. Some will be inspired to find their own. And some will try to convince you to go back to being the dull, predictable stone they were comfortable with. But they will not succeed. Because once you taste the profound freedom of being utterly and completely yourself, returning to the prison of conformity is no longer an option. It becomes an impossibility. This is the moment you stop apologizing for taking up space, for having needs, for existing in your full, glorious complexity. This is the moment you embrace the sacred responsibility of honoring the soul you were given. You will look back at this week as the great turning point, the moment your story finally began. The universe has not forgotten you, Libra. It has simply been waiting for you to remember yourself. Every closed door, every moment of doubt, every past pain, it all had a purpose. It was forging you, preparing you. And now, this surprise arrives as a divine message. Your story is far from over. The most victorious chapters are yet to be written. This energetic portal is opening for you now. Be alert. Listen to the signs, the whispers, the dreams. The key to rewriting your destiny is already within your grasp. Are you ready to use it? If this message resonates deep within your soul, if it feels like a truth you've always known, but could never articulate, it is because you are already vibrating at the frequency of this change. Subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications, because this awakening is just the beginning. You will need guidance to navigate the world as this new, authentic version of yourself. A world that may not be ready for your light. We will walk this path together. The last week of August is here. The surprise is unfolding. Your true story, the one your soul came here to live, is about to begin. And when it does, you will look back and wonder how you ever survived telling a story that was never truly yours. Welcome home, Libra. Welcome to the masterpiece your life was always meant to be.